Hi, my name's Helen and this is my channel, Helen Mary Jo. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're returning, thank you. If you're a house bell, hello. My regular viewers will know that I'm having a fundraising coffee morning on Saturday to raise money for Dementia UK. I think dementia, I mean, there's so many horrible diseases out there, but dementia is one that I'm particularly kind of afraid of. I have no reason to be afraid of it because those of you who've met my mum know that she's got all of her marbles and some more. But I do know two ladies who are not much older than me, like 4 or 5 years older than me, and they've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and it is gathering pace. You know, they're very, very quickly going downhill, and they both had amazing careers. They both had children, and it's just one of the saddest things ever to see. And you know, there's been several members, not close family, but in-laws of my siblings that have had quite serious Alzheimer's. And I think it's such a difficult disease for the friends and family too, because it's really hard work, isn't it? You know, when you say something to somebody and then they keep asking you the same question, it's so hard to stay patient. And there's two things. One is they can't help it, and two is they were us once. I always try, and with anybody elderly, frail, whatever, most of them were us once. They were living a full and happy life just like us, and I just think it's tragic. Anyway, this is the second coffee morning I've held for them. I've got some lovely raffle prizes. I've got a lovely tombola. I'm just hoping that I get the people through to, you know, spend their pennies. So anyway, I just thought I would knock up 3 cakes this morning. I think that's a very English expression, knock up a cake. And I just went online, and I'm going to do 6 cakes, but I'm just doing the first 3 today, and then I'll do the next 3 tomorrow. So I just went on the internet and printed off some recipes that I like the look of. One is a traditional Irish Barmbrack cake. That's the first one I'm doing. The second is a lemon loaf, which I always sort of just make my own up. And then the next one is a bit more elaborate. It's Nadia Hussain's coconut bundt cake. Now I'm going to cook them all in my air fryers. And these air fryers were given to me as part of a collaboration through Authentic, but they've also gifted me an air fryer for the raffle tomorrow. So I think that's very generous of them, to be honest. I just said, could you? And he did. So happy days. So the first one I'm making is the Irish Barmbrack. Now it's as easy as anything. I soaked the fruit, 375, I'll link the recipes. I soaked the fruit, 375 grams of mixed fruit. I just had sultanas and raisins. So that's what's going in there. And then there's no fat in this cake. It's more like a loaf, you know, you tend to spread butter on it. There's plain flour with baking powder and mixed spice, soft brown sugar, 1 egg, and that's it. I'll double check all of that. So basically, you just mix your dry ingredients in. I like doing it like this, organised, because it makes me feel like a TV cook. And then the soft brown sugar all goes in together. I've got a silicone spatula here, so just mixing that together. In fact, I probably won't even use the blender for this one because there's not really a lot to blend. So that's just the dry ingredients mixed together. I'm going to break this egg up a little bit and put that into the dry ingredients. A little bit of kind of, I think it's fluff off a tea towel or something. Mix that together lightly. I mean, it doesn't look like anything right now, does it? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spoon the fruit in, because there's so much liquid in there. I don't want, you know, they plumped up quite a lot. You're supposed to do it overnight. I've just done it for about 3 hours. I'm sure that's sufficient. Different recipes say different things, so I just take a bit of the recipe that I like. And like I say, this is a very dense kind of loaf cake, traditionally eaten with butter, and I will put butter out with it on the coffee morning. I think it's not overly sweet. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of the liquid in. It does say to do that. And then mix it together. And you know, I'm sure many of you ladies bake all the time, so you don't need me to tell you. But you can just kind of judge it, can't you? If it comes together and looks and feels like a cake, I'm pretty sure it will come together and taste like a cake. I am going to put a little bit more of the liquid in. I'm quite excited because I'm going to be using that lining paste that I made the other day, the Nancy Birtwistle one. I've got the bump tin here. It's pretty good, this tin. It does release quite easily, but I'm excited to use it. The cake I'm making for that one is very unusual. It's coconut with fennel seeds. So I've never made a cake with fennel seeds before. I hope it's nice. It's got a lot of ingredients in it. But anyway, that's really sticky now, you can see. It's a really sticky mix. I mean, how long did that take? About 2 minutes. I often say, you know, you can make a cake quicker than you could go to the shops and buy one. So I'm just using a standard £2 loaf tin with one of my liners. And let's see, I'll show you, you don't need to see me. You know, I have only got the one camera and I'm doing my best, so it's not easy to film these types of videos with just one camera. I'm certainly not investing in another camera. So I've sort of got all the prizes together. Mum's arriving later today, and we'll start putting everything on all the labels on the tombola. Decide which is tombola and which is raffle, really. I think as long as we've got like 5 good prizes for the raffle. And like I said, I've got an air fryer, I've got a face microcurrent machine, I have 4 silk pillowcases, they're arriving today from Lily Silk. I've got a piece of jewellery coming from Munir. I think dementia resonates with most people. And I think we all know it's not, you know, it's not in any way a lifestyle disease. And there's not really a lot you can do to ward it off. So that's the first cake made. So quick. Now, oh, dropped a bit off there. Let's see how long does it say to cook. I hardly ever look at my recipe books anymore. Place it in the oven for 1 hour. Okay, so I'm going to put that in for 40 minutes. It says 170. So I'll put it in for 40 minutes, then I'll see how it's doing. I would rather err on the side of caution. I'm using the twin one. And I'll be using the other side of the twin one. I'm going to take the bottom out so that it's got a bit more room. That goes in there, just like that. So that's that one done. So the other thing I do when I'm doing anything like this is the sink fills up. This is kind of not my washing up sink as such. This is my kind of just kitchen sink, because my main washing up sink is in the utility room, which you'll see. I've done a little ironing laundry video to go into this video too, because a few people have asked me about that, so I just thought I'd do that as I was doing some yesterday. So I'm just going to wash these up and then I'll get set up for the next cake. So the next one is the lemon loaf cake. So I've had to do a little improvisation because the lemon I had was old and a bit ropey. So I've used 1 lemon and 1 lime because that's what I had. So now it's a lemon and lime cake. And I put the zest of the lemon straight into the bowl using this very fine micro grater. And then I'm sure you all know the trick about if a lemon's old or a lime's old, or you know, even if they're not old, if you just pierce it and put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, you get far more juice out of it. So the first thing we have to do, the rest of the zest was in there, is cream, the sugar and butter, but in this case it's margarine, because to be quite honest with you, butter is too expensive, and you know, this is all coming out of my own pocket, so baking spread it is. Like I say, I'll link the recipes below. So then I'm just going to add in the, how many grams? So that was 175 of fats, 175 cast sugar, 200 grams of flour, 3 eggs, and the juice of 1 lemon. So I'm just putting the the flour straight in there and the eggs in on top. So that's 3 medium eggs. So I'll give them a bit of a blitz. I have got the juice of a lemon and a lime in here, which is probably a bit too much, and I will need some juice for the syrup. So I'll just put in what I think is reasonable, which is probably about a good tablespoon. I don't want the mixer to be too dense. And I'll just pop that into my loaf tin. Now this is silicone loaf tin. And what I have found with this is it can distort, the shape can distort. So in this air fryer, I made this wedge of foil that I just stick down the side and it just holds it in to stop it, you know, distorting. I mean, I think that cake was even quicker than the last one, wasn't it? It's so easy, you know. If you've got the ingredients, and when you weigh them out ahead of time like this, it does make it really so easy. It makes you feel like you're on the telly. So that's, do you remember when these silicone spatulas came in? My kids hated it because they love licking the cake mix. So this little one, I've got these from TK Maxx. They're so useful for getting things out of jars and any kind of awkward little space. So I'll just, so another easy peasy cake done. And the syrup goes on when it comes out of the oven. So the syrup is just the juice of, I can't remember how many lemons, limes, whatever. 4 tablespoons of lemon juice and 3 tablespoons of icing sugar. And you leave this to cool for 15 minutes in the tin. Is it 15 minutes? Yeah. And then brush the syrup over the cake while it's warm, and then there's a glacé icing as well, which is just basically icing sugar and so same again. So I'm just popping this into this side. It does stop the other side while you're doing this, so need to be kind of fairly swift. So I've just put that foil in there, can you see, to stop it kind of, what's the expression? Kind of getting mixed up really. So I'm just going to put that one in for 24 minutes on 175 as well. So those two are cooking away nicely in the double air fryer, and horror of horrors, I'm not going to wash these out because the ingredients for the next cake are so flavoursome. They will not be, the little tiny bit of lemon sponge that's in there will not be affected by the, won't come through on the others. So I'm now going to set up for the bundt cake, and that's me done then. I'll have done 3 cakes, so happy days. I'll have a cup of tea. So that was lucky. I started looking at the recipe again, and when it said it had 8 eggs, I thought that's too big for that little tin that I had. So I've got this bundt tin as well, well, it's a silicone one, as you can see, and I've got the lining paste here. Now this, to be honest with you, this silicone probably doesn't need this, but these are the brushes I bought in B&M, and this is the lining paste that I made with you the other day. So I'm going to put it in because I'm intrigued, and according to Nancy Birtwistle, the lady that I got this recipe from, she said it gives you a lovely finish to the tin, to the cake. You know, it gives it, I think it'd be excellent for pies, you know, to give you that extra layer. Another lady said be careful about hairs coming off the paintbrush. These are quite good quality ones, so I'm hoping that won't be a problem. So I'm just going round and lining all of that. This cake is much more complex than anything I would normally make, but I'm hoping it'll kind of be a showstopper. Live in hope. So I've had to toast some desiccated coconut until it was lightly browned. I've had to toast some fennel seeds and then grind them lightly, it says, in the pestle and mortar, which I've also done. I think that's the second time in 45 years I've used a pestle and mortar. I don't do anything normally that demands the use of one, but hey, let's go for it. So, I mean, although this is a bit of a palaver, this cake, getting everything ready is very useful. Gosh, that was quick, wasn't it? That's the lemon cake. That's not done yet, so I'm going to put it back in for another. Oh, they're both ended now. I think the brack might be done. Let me just put the right one back on. So that one's back on. So anyway, what was I saying? I can't remember. So anyway, that felt very stiff in the jar. When I got it out, I thought, oh, crumbs. But actually, it's kind of a bit like thick paint. You know, once you're using it, it goes on easily. So I think that will do, because like I say, these silicone cake tins, moulds, are very good at not sticking. So I have, in here, I've got a can of condensed milk and I can't remember, but desiccated coconut that I have toasted. And what you have to do then is put an even layer into the base of this. So I'm going to kind of dollop it in, kind of into the 4 areas of the tin. It's very thick as well, so God, I hope they like it after all this effort. Oh well, you can only try, can't you? So I've just sort of dolloped that in, and then I'm just spreading it round. Because I know when I saw the photograph, when you turn it out, the coconut layer is kind of separate, if you know what I mean. It's, do you know what I think I've done? I think I've left out the fennel seeds. Oh no, that's fine. That was right. That was lucky, wasn't it? Wouldn't be the first time. I would have just popped them in and kind of pushed them through. So I think that's fairly even. It's hard to tell, but I think that's pretty good. Just get the extra mix off there. I've had that can of condensed milk in my drawer in my kind of pantry drawer for so long. It's good to actually use it at last. So that's that. Pop that into the sink. So that's evenly dispersed through. Now what do I have to do? I have to put the eggs, the sugar, the cinnamon, the fennel and the lime zest. So I've already put the lime zest in there. Move that over to one side. I'll put the lime zest in. I'll put the sugar in. There's the flour with baking powder and cinnamon. I can't actually, did I put baking powder in? Oh no, there's no baking powder. Okay, that's why I didn't put it in there. So I'm going to give that a quick, get rid of that. That was Rob made kids and burgers the other day. They shut the oven door, don't they, and then completely forget about it. So annoying. So I'll just give that a little stir through just to get it kind of started. There's no fat in this recipe. I guess I'm just double checking. Eggs, sugar, cinnamon, lime zest and flour. Okay, so it's just the eggs then. It's unusual, isn't it? Must be the fat from the condensed milk. This is a very, very wet mixture. 8 eggs is a lot, isn't it? I'm just checking. I know when you've got everything kind of ready, at least you know if there's anything left on the counter. Forgotten to put it in. Put those in the sink. I'm trying to double check. So sugar, cinnamon, fennel, lime zest. Mix till you've got it light and fluffy and a smooth batter. Right, okay. That's that. That's really liquid, you see. It really is a batter. This Dolly wants to go out of time, it's impeccable. Dolly, you're going to have to wait until I put this in the oven. Well, I hope this is a success because that's quite an expensive batch of ingredients, isn't it? A little bit different anyway. I can really smell the fennel. I'm not a lover of fennel, so. Right, so that's going into my oven because this is too big for the air fryer. So how long does that take to cook? 45 minutes. Echo, set a 45-minute cake timer.
Cake timer, 45 minutes.
Well, that's handy. It says serve it while warm. Oh, well, not to worry. Anyway, so that's 3 cakes made. And if I can, I will do the next 3 with you. Right, so we're day 2 of cake baking, and Mum's busy sitting at the table putting the tombola tickets on, which is fun and games, trying to get that organised. You know, there's more to this than you think, really. Anyway, I'm going to be honest with you and say that the lemon cake I made yesterday was an absolute disaster. So I realised why it was. It was because I used a silicone loaf tin in the air fryer, and basically the middle didn't cook. I think the heat doesn't conduct properly without the metal tin. So I'm quickly making another one, just using my own standard recipe, which is 6 flour, 6 sugar, 6 marge, 3 eggs, and some lemon juice and zest. And I've got all that ready now. So I'm just going to use the all-in-one method because it works. And if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm anything for a shortcut. So that's the marge going in, and the sugar, 6 ounces of self-raising flour with a little bit of baking powder, and 3 eggs. It never fails, this recipe. I've got the glaze to use from before anyway, so that's not a problem. There's the postman. I thought it was someone knocking at the door. So I'm just going to bring that together. And because the baking fat is soft, it's coming together as easy as anything. I remember, Mum will laugh at now, I remember learning to cook with Mum with the old Kenwood chef, and we used to start on 1 and we'd add all the ingredients, then she'd say, right, turn it up to 8, turn it back to 1, and it was just that one blast of high speed. And that must be about 56 years ago, so good memory of things that don't matter. And I've just got another cake liner in there. Oops, nearly forgot to put the lemon juice in. I'll just add that, give that a quick stir through. And then pop that in, and that will probably take about 40 minutes on 175 in the air fryer. Just make sure it's all scraped off the sides and the bottom. And I know this won't fail because I've made it so many times. The Nadia Hussein cake looks amazing. I really don't know what it will taste like. And I am slightly changing it because, do you remember I realised that it said to serve warm? And obviously I won't be serving it warm. So I am going to put some coconut icing on the top to kind of make it more of a cake than a pudding. So just going to drop that on the worktop to knock any bubbles out, and then pop that into the air fryer. Right, so that took me 2 minutes to make that cake. So I'm just going to get everything ready for the chocolate cake, and I'll come back and do that. So the second cake I'm making today is just a chocolate bundt cake. I'm using this tin because I've wanted to use this tin, and I've lined it with the lining paste that we talked about before, and it seems to, you know, it goes on really well. And then I am just using, I haven't washed the bowl out because there's really no need. And again, I'm just going to use the all-in-one method, which is, and for this recipe, it's just 8 of everything. So it's 8 of bacon fat, 8 of sugar. I've done 7 of flour and 1 of cocoa powder, and 4 eggs. So it's basically 8 of everything. Just bring that together. Then I've got 50 grams of plain chocolate drops that are going in there as well to make it extra chocolatey and luscious. Scrape that down the sides. Now this is more luck than judgment because I don't know if this is the right mixture amount for this tin. I'm just guessing, but if it's too much, I shall just put it in another little cake mold. More luck than judgment. That's just about right, I think. Now I will cook that one. I'll cook that on 175 as well. I'm going to use the 1-drawer air fryer for obvious reasons, because this wouldn't fit in the 2-drawer. So in that goes. That's those 2 cakes on the go. Now it's just deciding what to do next. I'll have a little think and I'll come back. So rather bravely, I thought I would turn this chocolate cake out on camera to see if that lining paste has worked. So it's a little bit dark on the top, but that's fine because it'll be served upside down. That's not a very good start, is it? It's not coming out. There we are. So I'm going to put chocolate ganache on this cake, so I think that will look lovely. So hasn't come out clean, but I think it was a very sticky mix because it had the chocolate chip in it. So yeah, another cake for tomorrow. So apart from decorating the cakes now, I'm making the last cake, which is a date, walnut and chocolate cake. And I've never made this recipe before, and I don't know why I'm making cakes that I've never made before, but anyway, I just thought I'd make a change. Strange thing about this one is that you have to put the chopped dates in a bowl or a jug in this case, and add 1.5 cups of boiling water and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and I guess that froths it all up. So I was merrily thinking I'd make a loaf cake, because I tend to ignore what they say, because you always just use what you've got, don't you? And then when I saw the amount of ingredients, I thought that's never going to work. So I found this tin, and I have lined it rather than just using the baking liner, the paste, because I was concerned that it wouldn't, you know, it's going to be a very sticky cake, I think. So as is always the case, it seems, you blend your sugar and baking fat first of all. until that's light and fluffy. Then when you have done that, you add in the eggs and vanilla. I will link the recipe below, but you put in the eggs and the vanilla into there. It's just 2 eggs. And then put that in. It's going to be a very liquidy cake. I'm wondering when you put the flour in, that's what I'm worried about. Oh, and then it says to do the flour separately. I'm not going to worry about that because it says mix in the flour, the baking powder and salt, and I've put all those into the same bowl. So I'm just going to add this quite slowly. We've got all the tombola ready, we've got the raffle ready. I've sold quite a few raffle tickets ahead of time, which is lovely. You know, as I said before, I think it resonates with so many people. And I think they are on their way to finding a cure. Or even if not a cure, something that delays it a lot. So this is making it a much drier mix, which is good. It's funny, isn't it? I had to Google a couple of things because it says, what does it call it? Crisco. Well, we don't have Crisco, so I've just used baking fat. I quite like the whole measuring cups thing. It does make life easier. So that's that mixed together. Now I have to add the dates and liquid. All of that goes in there. The children are here now after school and they're bored, so they're hanging around waiting. So I need to get this on. I need to put the oven on as well.
Only one of them is.
Only one of them's bored. So I'll mix that in gently. Ooh, splashing everywhere. Because this is so wet, I'm just going to actually do this with a spoon. So I have to incorporate the walnuts and chocolate chips into this as well. So this is a very, very, really is like a batter more than a cake mixture. Oh, Billy wants me to tell you that he can now make pancakes.
No.
All, just come round here and say it. Oh. I don't know what you're saying, Billy. Oh, you want somebody to bid for it and win it? Well, the people on YouTube can't do that, so Billy thought it would be a good idea to offer his services as a pancake maker. So I've lined this tin with baking parchment. I'm going to pour this in now. It really is a very, very wet mix. So I think it's, you know, it's one of those that you cut into squares. I mean, this is actually slightly smaller than the tin that they recommend, and it's certainly not too much. It would have been too much for sure for hopefully that will rise nicely. Quite unusual, isn't it, to have dates, chocolate and walnut, but hopefully it'll taste nice. And that's the cake ready to go in the oven. And that, oh hang on, I need to get that out quickly. 40 minutes. I forgot, you need to, or what they suggest, you don't have to do this, is to sprinkle some demerara sugar over the top. Right, Echo, set a 40-minute timer.
40
So,
minutes. Starting now.
that's all of the cakes made. So there's a lemon cake, a Barmbrack,
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
lemon cake, Barmbrack, coconut cake, chocolate cake, and
From my own basic
fig
.net,
cake.
lemon earthquake cake is a dessert that starts with a
Echo.
layer of coconut.
Stop. Drive you mad. So all I'm going to do now is make the icing. I won't film that, but I will show you everything when it's all finished and put together.